What is good, boxing fans and gamers? It's your boy, FightNightsFinest, the sofa commentator, joined by my co-host, Arachnid Soul, youtube.com/Arachnid Soul. We're doing a review of the Shawn Porter versus Kell Brook fight, Showtime versus Special K. Robbery, flat out robbery. I don't care what anybody says. I could see you possibly, maybe, being able to set up an argument for Kell Brook if you don't understand boxing. But yes, the amateur style is the score based off of clean and based off of volume punching. And the pro style is the score based off of clean and effective punching. But the one thing you cannot take away from a guy is a guy who's making the fight, a guy who's landing body shots and is throwing in volume, and a guy who's had the better ring generalship, who was pressuring for the most part during the night, and then because he gets hit by a 1-2, or maybe they even showed one highlight where on the inside where Porter was hit with a three-piece combination. It was a left hook, right uppercut, and then he finished with the right hook. That's how the combination came out. And I think it's just a robbery just from the way that it was set up. All the replays until round number 11, all were in favor of Kell Brook. All the replays, the 1-2 that came out. Nobody showed the body work that was coming from Shawn Porter. Nobody showed how he was doubling up that left hook. How sometimes when he even came in with that wild left hook, how much clinching Kell Brook was doing, especially in those first 3 rounds. There was not a lot of effective counter shots in those first 3 rounds, but yet on Steve Foger's scorecard, he was giving it to Kell Brook. Didn't understand that. I'm going to let Arachnid get some words in before I continue with the analysis of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, I sat down, I watched this fight with you. We must have been watching a different fight than the judges. I said this earlier. I think the 4 people responsible for Kell Brook walking out with that IBF welterweight belt are the 3 judges and the referee. The referee needed to get in there early on, round number 1, round number 2. Just make the general statement, listen, guys, I don't want to see all this clinching tonight. I've seen it all night long. I don't want to see the clinching. Should have said to him, I will not hesitate to take a point away. What that does, it puts in the minds of the fighters, hey, I don't want to lose that point right off the bat. It's going to be a close fight. Now you're going to have 2 boxers who are not going to clinch as much, and when that happens, Shawn Porter is going to be able to drop Kell Brooks probably by round 8, which we didn't see happening because the first round, the second round, the third round was just clinching. I don't want to get into the later rounds. Kell Brooks did look a little bit better later on in round 6 and round 10, but overall, he did not win this fight. And that judge scoring at 117 to 111, I know it's your favorite judge. You look for that score every time one of these fighters gets screwed over. I do not know what happened tonight in California.
Yeah, let's talk about the show stats number. It's supposed to be an algorithm by the guy sitting at ringside pressing the buttons to let you know if he think a certain type of punch landed. If he thought it was a power punch, a jab, if it landed, if it didn't, and the amount of punches that's being thrown. If you look at round number 11 when the show stats came up, how do you have it that Shawn Porter only landed 42 body shots and Kell Brook landed 11? I don't know what fight or what CompuBox guy was sitting on the side scoring those rounds, but he landed far more than 42 body shots during that entire fight. He constantly worked the body, and when they showed his highlights, it showed that he was getting in some clean and effective shots. The left hooks, he came back with some counter overhand right sometimes. Sometimes he would counter downstairs with a left hook downstairs to the body. And when Shawn was moving his head and coming in like Joe Frazier and Mike Tyson, and even sometimes you see him going into that turtle defense like Archie Moore, you saw him being able to get downstairs and start working the body. And I feel like if he had the superstardom of Canelo Alvarez, where Canelo was doing the same thing to Lara, except Lara was running a lot more and not clinching as much, then probably he would have got some respect for that body work that he was delivering downstairs to the body. Now, they weren't definite like the Lamont Peterson fight that took place a week ago, but it was so evident that he was giving a lot of body work. He was able to land some chopping overhand rights. Most of them did land behind the head. But you can't take away the fact that the guy outworked him for most of the round. I wanted to see the average amount of punches that were being thrown per round by Kell Brook. Because, yes, he would get in a jab sometimes, and it would snap Shawn Porter's head back. But that's what the point of a jab. A jab snaps back anybody's head, especially when you're the shorter fighter. You're coming in from a closer distance. Yeah, that punch is going to look a lot more effective than if you was at range. And even at range, it didn't even look that impressive. None of those chopping right hands hurt Shawn Porter. So you got to give the guy respect for his volume, his work rate, and the amount of punches he threw is ridiculous that you could really find a whole bunch of rounds to give Kell Brook. Now, there's going to be a lot of people here are going to be brainwashed by the replays that's saying, oh, well, this showing this. Yeah, his punches look more definite. Not every single punch that he threw looked really definite. It was either that one moment in a round, but you can't give somebody a fight or a round based off of one moment. So, Arachnid, final thoughts on the fight before I give mine?
Yeah, my final thoughts are, after I watched that fight, I saw the announcers, I saw the interviewer in the ring. They were talking about, well, now that Kell Brook has the belt, who should be the number one contender? My feeling was it should be Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter handled that loss a lot better than I did. It looked like he was about 50-50 on the hug after the closing bell, because he's like, listen, I've hugged you all night. You've been all over me. The only thing you didn't do tonight was buy me roses and take me out to dinner. Absolutely ridiculous. Shawn Porter deserves a rematch. At very least, I think you could sell the rematch based on the fact that people who, and by the way, I actually bet with Fight Night's Finest, and I had my money on Kell Brook, but I had my money on him to get knocked out pretty much in the 8th round, whereas Fight Night said that Kell Brook would get knocked out, before round 8. In any case, yeah, Shawn Porter deserves the rematch. You could sell it to the people on Shawn Porter's pissed off, and hey, Shawn Porter fans, you know he actually won that fight, right? You've got the Kell Brooks fans, congratulations to the UK. Shawn Porter got screwed tonight, don't know what those judges were talking. And that first judge that said it was 114 all, the only thing that was even in that fight was round 6. You might be able to give it to Kell Brook, but I think even that round was even. Kell Brook did take round number 10. Shawn Porter dominated the rest of the fight. I mean, hell, if they wanted to just give Kell Brook the belt, they didn't need to do all the punching. They didn't need to put the trunks on. They should have just handed them over to him in the locker room, and then they should have shown some cartoons for the rest of the hour. Anyway, Fight Night, your closing thoughts.
I would like to see a rematch, and I would also like to see a different referee in the ring. I think that the referee was not active enough. The amount of clinching that was going on was ridiculous, and you can't call clinching like that smothering somebody's offense. He went to the side, face lock a couple of times. It's like at the end of the day, what would you like to see? A guy who's going to land like that one moment? Oh, one straight right hand. He has the round. No. If you see a guy going downstairs to the body, working the combinations, you saw Porter, especially after his father gave him those instructions and said, all right, now I'm going to need some combinations to go to the head. He came out in that round and just basically went to town on the head of Kell Brook. Yeah, a lot of the damage didn't show in his head because why? He's clinching and he's smothering most of the time. But I always feel that nowadays the guy who's putting in the work and the guy who's constantly making the fight isn't going to get the respect that they deserve. Let me know and let Arachnid know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's been another fight review by your boy, Fight Night's Finest, the Sofa Commentator. Check out my co-host, Arachnid Soul, youtube.com/Arachnid Soul. Link can be found in the description, along with other great commentators. Anyhow, it's been your boy, Fight Night's Finest, the Sofa Commentator, and I'm off this. Peace!